Hello and welcome. 90 days. In the realm of diplomacy and trade, this number holds a peculiar magic. As global markets hold their breath, the United States and China have once again agreed to extend their tariff ceasefire for another 90 days during talks in Stockholm. Sounds like good news, right? The world's two largest economies temporarily potting down their tariff weapons. But is this the calm before the storm, or are we truly on the path to resolution? Today, let's uncover the truth behind this 90-day illusion. First, let's address a harsh reality. This extension isn't due to any major breakthroughs in negotiations. On the contrary, it's a desperate move to avoid a full-blown economic disaster. Before the Geneva and London talks earlier this year, retaliatory tariffs had skyrocketed 1 for 5 on Chinese goods and 125% on US goods. These levels are practically trade embargoes. Without an extension beyond August 12, these devastating tariffs would snap back overnight, paralyzing global supply chains. This 90-day pause buys both sides time to breathe and prepares the ground for a potential Trump-Xi summit later this year. After all, no one wants to deal with a tariff apocalypse during a high-profile meeting. In essence, this is a classic case of kicking the can down the road. The problem isn't solved, but at least it won't trip us up today. So, what's inside this can that both sides keep kicking? It's the core issues of the US-China trade war. From Washington's viewpoint, the complaints center around China's economic model. The US accuses China of flooding global markets with cheap goods through state subsidies, creating industrial overcapacity. Add to that intellectual property theft, forced technology transfers, and state-owned enterprise dominance issues the US has been raising for decades. Meanwhile, Beijing sees these accusations as baseless. China argues that the US uses national security as an excuse to block Chinese access to advanced technologies, aiming to stifle China's growth. For example, export controls on cutting-edge AI chips like NVIDIA's H20 have become a major sticking point. These aren't simple trade disputes. They're fundamental clashes between two economic philosophies and development models. Geneva and London talks merely extinguished the flames temporarily, resolving these deep structural differences in the short term. That's wishful thinking. This brings us to an intriguing question. If the US and China's economies are so complementary, why did Trump launch this trade war? For decades, the US-China trade relationship was symbiotic. The US provided technology, capital, and a massive consumer market. China offered labor, manufacturing, and growing demand. American consumers enjoyed affordable goods, saving households over $850 annually. Meanwhile, US companies profited immensely, and China lifted hundreds of millions out of poverty. But Trump saw things differently. To him, the $295 billion trade deficit with China was proof that America was being ripped off. He blamed China for the decline of US manufacturing, blue-collar job losses. Tariffs became his weapon to fulfill campaign promises and make America great again. Did it work? Not really. Studies show that tariffs primarily hurt American consumers and businesses. The trade deficit didn't disappear, it simply shifted to countries like Vietnam and Mexico. It's like plugging one leak in a bathtub only to have water gush out from 10 others. As the trade war drags on, a dangerous term has emerged: decoupling. If the US and China fully sever economic ties, who suffers more? For the US, the pain is immediate. Tariffs have already cost American households an average of $1,300 annually. Industries like agriculture and automotive face severe losses. Losing access to China's market and supply chains would be devastating. For China, the impact is equally dire. As the world's factory, losing the US market would cripple manufacturing and employment. Export controls on semiconductors could stall China's technological progress. In short, this isn't a boxing match where one side wins. It's a messy divorce where both parties and their children, the global economy, end up worse off. What lies ahead? First, leadership styles matter. Trump thrives on unpredictability, using tariffs as bargaining chips. Xi, on the other hand, plays the long game, emphasizing self-reliance and patience. Likely scenarios include: 1. No grand deal, resolving all core issues is improbable. 2. Cycle of ceasefires, expect recurring pause-resume cycles. 3. Permanent tariffs, a baseline tariff level of 15-20 may become the norm. 4. Selective decoupling. While full decoupling is unrealistic, strategic sectors like semiconductors and rare earths will see accelerated separation. Ultimately, this isn't just a trade war. It's a battle for global dominance in the 21st century. These 90 days of ceasefire offer a brief respite, but the real storm may be just beginning. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.